Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, well, we're getting into something that affects literally billions of people, hair loss.
It's a huge issue, yeah. More than just looks, it can really impact how people feel.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the search for solutions that are, both effective and safe, it's been going on forever, it feels like.
Right.
So our focus today is Pyrilutamide. You might also see it called KX-826. It's an investigational topical treatment. And we're going to really unpack it. We've got a bunch of research articles.
Yeah, we'll dig into the science, how it works differently, its journey through the trials, some ups and downs there.
Definitely downs. And its safety, which seems like a big plus. And also this really interesting way they're trying to get it to market.
Before we dive in, though, it's worth just touching on why there's such a need for something new.
Good point. What are the current limitations?
Well, you've got topical minoxidil, right? But it's kind of nonspecific, doesn't really hit the hormonal root cause.
Okay.
And then there's oral finasteride. Effective, yes, but, oh boy, the side effects. Systemic ones.
That's the one people worry about, isn't it? Sexual dysfunction, mood changes.
Exactly. And even this post-finasteride syndrome, some people report after stopping. So there's this, huge gap for something targeted and safe.
Right. That gap is exactly what Pyrilutamide is aiming for. So let's talk science. How does it work? What makes it, targeted?
Okay, so Pyrilutamide is what's called a non-steroidal anti-androgen, an NSAA.
NSAA, got it.
And the really interesting part is it works directly on the scalp. It basically blocks the androgen receptor, the AR, right there in the hair follicles.
So it stops DHT from binding, DHT being the main culprit?
Precisely. DHT is what makes those follicles shrink in androgenetic alopecia. Pyrilutamide basically puts up a roadblock right at the follicle.
Was it very precise then?
Incredibly. Its binding affinity, how strongly it grabs onto that receptor, is measured with an IC50 of 0.28 nanomolar.
Which means?
Which means it's potent, like over 10 times more potent at the receptor than even some known drugs like bicalutamide. And the key thing, the reason this matters for safety is where it works. It's downstream, right at the receptor. Finasteride works upstream, reducing DHT levels throughout the body.
Ah, okay. So Pyrilutamide aims to keep the action local, on the scalp.
That's the hypothesis. Less systemic exposure, hopefully fewer systemic side effects. That's the whole idea.
Makes sense. So with that mechanism, how did it actually perform in clinical trials? You mentioned ups and downs.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a journey. The early phase 2 trials, especially in China, look really promising.
How promising?
For men, the 0.5% dose, used twice a day, showed a statistically significant increase. We're talking about roughly 15 more hairs per square centimeter compared to placebo.
That sounds pretty good. And for women?
Also positive. Around 11 more hairs per square centimeter versus placebo. And a U.S. trial also showed it was biologically active. So early signs were definitely encouraging.
Okay, so things looked good initially, but then came the big phase 3 trial in China. That hit a snag, right?
It did. That was the hurdle. The large phase 3 study, using that same 0.5% twice daily dose, well, it showed improvement compared to the start of the study,
Right.
but it didn't manage to show a statistically significant difference compared to the placebo group.
Ouch. Why not, if the earlier trials worked?
It seems like a major factor was a really, really high placebo response. It happens sometimes in these hair loss trials. It can be tricky to show a clear difference when the placebo group also sees some improvement.
Right. That placebo effect can be powerful. So a setback, but maybe not entirely about the drug itself failing?
Potentially, yes. But okay, despite that phase 3 challenge, there's one area where Pyrilutamide seems to consistently shine.
Let me guess. Safety.
Exactly. Its safety profile.
Yeah.
Across all the studies, even a year-long trial, the reports describe it as having an exceptionally favorable safety profile.
And what does that mean specifically for, the listener worrying about those finasteride-type issues?
It means, crucially, that there have been no reports of drug-related sexual dysfunction. None of those serious systemic side effects that worry people about finasteride.
That's huge.
It really is. The side effects reported were generally mild, things you might expect from a topical product, some skin irritation, itching, contact dermatitis maybe, very localized.
So addresses the biggest concern head on.
Pretty much. Of course, long-term data is always important, but so far it looks remarkably clean from a systemic safety standpoint.
Okay, so faced with that phase 3 statistical hurdle, but armed with a great safety profile, what did Kintor, the company developing it, do next? They got creative, I hear.
They really did. Very strategic pivots. First, they're not giving up on the drug route. They're now testing a higher concentration, 1.0%, in a new phase 3 trial in China.
Doubling the dose.
Essentially, yes. And the phase 2 part of that already met its goal, apparently. And the big phase 3 part is enrolling now, like 666 patients.
Okay, so higher dose. What else?
Combination therapy. They're running trials combining Pyrilutamide with Minoxidil.
Hitting it from two angles.
Exactly. Since they work differently, Pyrilutamide on the hormones, Minoxidil more on growth stimulation, the idea is they might work better together. Synergy.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
But then there's the really unconventional move.
Right. The Koshine launch. This is fascinating. Kintor actually launched Pyrilutamide as the key ingredient in a cosmetic product line in China called Koshine.
Wait, a cosmetic, not a drug.
Correct. Because its safety profile is so good, they could seemingly navigate the cosmetic regulations. It allows them to, generate revenue now and get the ingredient out there, build brand awareness.
While the potentially higher dose or combo therapy goes through the longer pharmaceutical approval process.
You got it. It's a pretty clever sidestep, leveraging that safety data. They even got it an official INCI name for cosmetic ingredients. Methylpyridinyl fluoromethoxybenzenotriol dimethyloxythioxoimidazolidine. Quite a mouthful.
Definitely not rolling off the tongue. So, okay, wrapping this up, what's the bottom line for you, the listener, interested in hair loss solutions?
Well, Pyrilutamide looks like a genuinely new option potentially emerging. It offers that targeted hormonal approach like Finasteride, but seemingly without the major systemic safety worries.
And potentially better than Minoxidil because it targets the root DHT cause.
That's the hope, yes. Its future really rides on these new trials, the 1.0% dose and the combo therapy. If those succeed, it could be a major player.
So, something to keep an eye on.
Absolutely. And it leads to a final thought, maybe?
Go for it.
What if the ultimate solution for something like hair loss isn't just about raw effectiveness? What if it's about finding that perfect sweet spot, good efficacy, combined with, well, an almost spotless safety record?
Finding the balance.
Right. And beyond that, how might these kinds of innovative commercial strategies, like launching as a cosmetic first, change how we see new therapies come to market in the future, even before they have full drug approval? Definitely something to mull over.